be going over the most insane, broken, and overpowered kits in Roblox Bedwars that you need to start using. Also, subscribe. For the first kit that we have on this list, we have the Cryptic Kit. This kit was recently buffed about 5 different times in one update, and now it is just absolutely insane. You can combine this with a few different sorts of enchants, and you can just make it instant kill basically anyone. Basically, if you don't know what this kit does, if you or your teammates kill someone, you can claim their graves and just summon skeletons with identical gear that the enemy had. So if your enemy had a rage blade, for example, and if you or your teammate kills them, the skeleton that you summon from their grave also has a rage blade. And then pair that with some enchants, which the skeletons also copy, and you'll have an absolutely insane army of skeletons. You also don't even need to get any kills at all. You can just let your teammates do all of the work and get all of the kills and still claim the skeletons. And as long as no one else is using the Cryptic Kit, you can just get all of the skeletons for yourselves and then spam them in your opponent's spawns to instantly spawn kill them. However, that is only 1 out of the 10 different kits that I'm going to be talking about in today's video. And as the video goes on, I'm going to be talking about some of the most broken kits that need to be nerfed immediately. So stay tuned for that. And for the next kit, we have the Barbarian kit. Now, it was pretty obvious that this kit was going to be on this list because of the Rage Blade. The Rage Blade is the best sword in the game. There is no denying that. It is one of the highest DPS weapons in the game. And once you get the Rage Blade, unless you can somehow spawn kill the Barbarian, there is absolutely no stopping him. Late game, the Barbarian is a very, very good kit. And as long as you just don't get spawn killed, you can make this kit really powerful. And what also helps is even if you are not doing so great with the Barbarian, you can just get a crossbow and then instantly get more rage without even having to actually go ahead and win PvP fights. Another really good thing about the Barbarian kit that just makes it super broken is that you can just progressively upgrade your swords and get the Rage Blade without even needing to forge your sword. You can have a Rage Blade and 300 health at the exact same time, which makes it really overpowered and gives you a massive edge over all of your other opponents. And for the next kit on this list, we have the Freer Kit. The Freer Kit is honestly one of the most underrated kits in the game, and it's also really broken as well. Basically, what it does is it combines the Gloop item and the Diamond Sword together to make a really broken and annoying kit. The Freer Kit gives you an alternative to the Diamond Sword, which is actually 1 emerald cheaper. It is literally 1 emerald more expensive than the Telepearls, which makes it super worth it. And you basically get a stronger diamond sword. It is very handy. And even if you are like a super sweaty player, you can still use this kit to your advantage, because basically what this kit does is the Freer sword gives your opponents a slowness ability after a few hits. So basically you can just hit them a few times and it gives almost the exact same effect as the Gloop. And then you can either catch up to your opponents really easily or use it to run away. It is a very annoying and handy kit at the exact same time, which is why I put it on this list. And for the next kit that we have on this list, we have the Caitlyn kit. Now, this kit is severely neglected, and I honestly don't even know why, because this kit is honestly super broken. Basically, you get a passive damage ability, which is super overpowered when combined with enchants and the Death Bloom. Every single time I have come across a Caitlyn kit, they are always using the dagger, and for very good reasons. The Death Bloom is honestly super strong, and if a Caitlyn kit somehow manages to get the Death Bloom, then you are basically screwed. There is nothing you can do, especially if that same Caitlyn kit has also been upgrading their contracts. It just becomes super overpowered. Honestly, the Caitlyn kit is one of those sorts of kits that starts off as a pretty average kit, but then if you don't watch out for it, it becomes unstoppable, because basically you can just combine 3 different enchants with this kit, and it's also really good for absolutely any scenario. And for the next kit, it was pretty obvious that this kit was going to be on this list, but the Aries kit is still one of the most broken kits in the game. It hasn't been nerfed at all ever since Season 3 came out, and yeah, it is just ridiculously broken. The Aries kit starts out as being a sort of really bad and mediocre kit because you get get way less HP and not really any early game buffs, but as soon as you get around 10-ish kills, which is still rather difficult to do in some game modes, the Aries kit just becomes completely unstoppable. It gets to the point where if the Aries gets enough kills, there is basically zero counter to it. Since the damage multiplier effect the Aries kit does, it scales between almost every single weapon except the bow. So if you're playing as a really stacked Aries kit, you are basically just unstoppable as long as you get enough kills. However, the reason why I didn't put this higher on this list is because if you don't get enough kills with the Aries kit, you're playing at a massive disadvantage, and at that point you could just use the Hannah kit instead. And if you guys are wondering, hang on a second, how am I able to get some of these kits for myself so I can become a really overpowered in Roblox Bedwars? Well, guys, let me tell you a little secret. I'm giving my subscribers who are early to my videos a free kit for themselves. So if you are early to this video and my next video, comment your username down below with what kit you want, and I may potentially slide you guys a kit. Anyways, on with the video. The next most broken and overpowered kit I want to talk about, guys, is the Fortuna kit. Now, I pray that this kit gets nerfed because it is honestly one of the most overpowered kits in Roblox Bedwars right now. The kit is a little bit RNG. You do have to get really good cards, but if you get some really good cards like the sharpness card and the explosion card, you're just unstoppable. The amount of Fortunas that I have lost to in my game, it is just super annoying because they always get really overpowered cards. There's a certain card combination that you can get with the Fortuna kit where you could basically one-shot iron armor. It is absolutely insane. The kit requires absolutely no skill as well. Basically, all you have to do is deal some damage with the cards by pressing R, and it'll just do all of the work for you, and you just need to finish off the kill. It's a really easy kit to use, and honestly, that's why I put it on this list. And for the next most overpowered and broken kit on this list is the Talia kit. Now, this might sound absolutely crazy to some of you guys, but yes, this kit is on this list, and yes, it is super overpowered. This is a little bit of a strange kit because it doesn't really follow the traditional sort of overpoweredness of some of the other kits on this list. Basically, you can just buy a bunch of eggs, grow some chickens, but then what makes this kit really overpowered is you can use it as an offensive kit as well as a farming kit. So you can throw these little chickens and forge the chickens, and it just becomes literally the most annoying kit in the game. I think it has been nerfed at least once. I can't quite remember, but nevertheless, it is still a really good kit, and so many people don't really use this kit anymore, but it is still super overpowered. This kit is also completely free, by the way. You only have to get level 15, and then you get this kit forever. And for the next kit, we have the Sheila kit. This kit honestly is super overpowered. It's super broken once you get enough damage done to it. Similar to the Aries kit that starts off as being not so great, but then eventually it becomes a lot better. This is the sort of kit that I use sometimes, and I don't even notice that I'm just wiping out the entire lobby because that's just how good this kit is. It sort of reminds me of how the Fortuna plays, where you sort of don't really notice that you're destroying the whole lobby until you realize that your kit is really overpowered. Basically, what the Sheila kit does is you get sort of a seahorse that does damage and it heals you at the exact same time. And once you level up the seahorse enough, it gives this sort of laser beam attack that does an insane amount of DPS. However, saving the best for the very end, honestly, one of the most overpowered kits right now is the Electro Kid. This kit is it is the best kit right now. There is no denying that. Even though that might not be true, it is still a really good kit nonetheless, no matter what game mode you're playing. And honestly, the dash ability that it gives you just reminds me of a really overpowered Uzi kit. Plus, you get 2 dashes where you can just sort of run away or rush opponents, not only saving you blocks, but also giving you a split second of invincibility while PvPing your opponents. The good thing about the dash ability as well is that your opponents cannot anticipate it at all. They have no idea that you're about to use the dash ability, and you can use it to get some really sneaky outplays on your opponents. And since this kit also gives the same sort of static effect where your opponents cannot heal for a brief period of time, it just makes it so much better for PvP fights. And for the next most overpowered kit, I hinted this earlier towards the beginning of the video, but the Hannah kit honestly is just the most busted kit in the game right now. The Hannah kit sort of has a comparable ability to what the Aries kit has, whereby sacrificing a little bit of HP, you get a really overpowered ability. Basically, the Hannah has an execute ability that you can just use from a really far distance once your enemies get low enough. However, what I really like about the Hannah kit the most is that it has a combo effect that once you execute an enemy, you get a little combo effect, which makes executing the next enemy a lot easier. The requirements to kill the next enemy is a lot lower and the range is also increased, which is what makes the Hannah kit absolutely amazing for something like either 30v30 squads, even solos and duos, honestly, because you can just sort of keep executing all of your enemies as long as they get low enough.